हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यामुन तीर वनचारी, यामुन तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे, जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे, जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय, जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय, जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन, जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन, जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Chila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Thy God Premanande. Welcome, dear devotees. We have reached the final part of the session on the crooked pathways of Prema. I am very grateful to each and every one of you for kindly attending all these sessions, giving your valuable time, listening to the talks, and asking such wonderful questions. Of course, we'll be having questions in the evening, but we'll conclude the seminar on the crooked pathways of Prema. But before we begin, it is Shishta Parampara, it is tradition established by the previous acharyas to perform Mangalacharan. Following in that tradition, I too will perform Mangalacharan. Most of us know these verses, you can kindly sing along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnupādaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Thy God Premanande. Welcome, dear devotees. Once again, I am very happy I had such good association and I had such support in the form of all of you present here in the audience, because of which I could speak something which otherwise is impossible to speak. And the power of good association is described in a wonderful verse from the Subhashit literature. This verse, dear devotees, is dedicated to all of you. I'll sing the verse. Kindly sing after me. Asajjana sajjana sangi sanga karoti dussadhyam apiha sadhyam pushpashraya chambhu shirodhirudha pipilika chumbati chandrabimbam. Asajjana, a person who is not so saintly. Sajjana Sangi Sangat. But when such a person comes in association with many saintly people, Karoti, it is possible. Duhsadyam api iha sadhyam, that he can make the impossible possible. Dear devotees, such is my condition. The only reason why I was able to speak this subject matter, which is otherwise impossible to speak, is because I had satsanga, I had association of all of you. Thank you so much, dear devotees. And then there is an example given. Dear devotees, can an ant manage to touch the moon? No. But Pushpa Ashrayat, if the ant takes shelter of a flower, and Shambhu Shirodiruda, and the flower is offered on the head of Bhagwan Shiva, the devotees, even the ant can manage to touch the moon. So I am the ant trying to touch the moon. All of you are like flowers. I took shelter of you, and I offered myself unto Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. Hence, I think I should be able to do the impossible. Thanks to all of you, dear devotees. Here is the translation. Pranavallabh Prabhu, please read.
By the association of great souls, even a ruffian can achieve the impossible. Just as an ant in the association of a flower on the hair of Lord Shiva can actually perform the feat of touching the moon.
So this, dear devotees, is my condition. I was able to speak this simply because of the presence of all of you. I have always said this thing, and I ask this question once again. Who is more important, the speaker or the audience? Satyam. Dear devotees, this morning we were studying Satyam. Huh? What will happen to this entire program if the audience is not there? Oh, Maharaj will take my seat and speak. But what will I do without audience? Yeah. Anything but the truth, dear devotee. So hence proved, dear devotees, more important than the speaker is the audience. And all of you are situated here today as the audience. Thank you so much for making the event successful. Simply by your presence, the event was successful. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada never began any literature without glorifying his intended audience. In every literature of his, he glorified his audience. And this is a reminder that we cannot take our audience for granted. They are very valuable for us, each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being present here. And the reason why I am speaking these topics is I know that there will be individuals who may think that this person is disqualified to speak on the topics of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. But I don't think there has been any acharya in history who has publicly said that I am qualified to write about Radha Krishna. Every devotee feels that they are disqualified to write. And when acharyas have said they are disqualified, what to speak of ordinary devotees such as myself? Disqualification is my only qualification, dear devotees. There's a wonderful verse composed by the poet Jaidev. Now, this Jaidev is different from the Jaidev Goswami. Sri Jaidev Goswami appeared in Orissa in eastern India, but this Jaidev appeared in Maharashtra in western India, much before Sri Jaidev Goswami. And he was a poet par excellence. He wanted to compose a manual on Sanskrit poetics, but his co-students, they were always doubting him, saying that everything has already been written by the previous great acharyas of poetics. By writing something new, you will spoil their opinions. So don't write anything. Better to keep quiet. Sri Jaidev was in doubt for a long time. Finally, he decided to write his literature. In the beginning of his literature, he composed a verse. नाशङ्कनीयमेतेषाम्
नाशङ्कनीयमेतेषां
मतमेतेन दूष्यते
मतमेतेन दुष्यते
किन्तु चक्षुर्मृगाक्षीणाम्
किन्तु चक्षुर्मृगाक्षीणां
कज्जलेनैव भूष्यते
कज्जलेनैव भूष्यते
न आशङ्कनीयम्. Dear devotees, don't have any doubt. Etesham matam, that the opinions of these previous great acharyas, etena dushyate, will be spoiled by me, will be spoiled by my speech. Don't have any such doubts. Sri Jayadev is saying. Sri Jayadev says, Kintu chakshur mrigakshinam. My speech may be as useless as kajal. You know what is kajal, dear devotees? Kohl. They call kohl. So you take kajal and you put it on the wall. You apply it on the wall. What will happen to the wall? Will it remain as it is or will it get spoiled? Welcome. Hare Krishna Maharaj. So dear devotees, you take kajal, you put it on the wall gets spoiled. You take kajal, you put it on a paper, can you use the paper anymore? No, it gets spoiled. So my speech is like kajal. I agree. Everywhere you will apply it, it will spoil anything. But chakshur mrigakshinam, the writings of the previous acharyas are like the eyes of beautiful ladies. And my speech is like kajal. And dear devotees, what happens when kajal is applied to the eyes of beautiful ladies? Do they become spoiled or do they become more beautiful? So I hope this will be the desired result. So here is what Sri Jayadev says.
The audience should kindly not doubt that the opinions of the previous great acharyas will be ruined by these explanation of mine. In fact, their opinions will be highlighted and glorified even more. Just as beautiful doe-eyed ladies appear even more beautifully decorated with a useless black substance named kajal, when a black substance, kajal, is applied on their eyes.
So dear devotees, this is the mood with which the presentation is being given. My speech is as useless as kajal. Thankfully, the writings of the previous acharyas are compared to the eyes of beautiful ladies. And you see what happens when kajal is applied to the eyes of a beautiful lady, they appear even more beautiful. So dear devotees, with this mood, the presentation is being given. And our entire cycle of Prema, it has many twists and turns. There is a wonderful Sanskrit verse which I often like to quote. This verse, a shorter version of this verse has been quoted by Srila Rupa Goswami in his works. But I like to quote this original version which has the complete detail, which gives the complete cycle of love. And this verse is from the Subhashitavali of Sri Vallabhdev. This verse is in a very unique meter, Harini, very sweet meter. You can, I'll try to sing this by first breaking the first line into three parts and then I'll sing the line together. All right. So please sing after me. Samajaninata
Samajaninata
Prema tyaktam
Prema tyaktam
Yadishadabirshaya
Yadishadabhishaya
Samajaninata Prema tyaktam Yadishadabirshaya
Samajaniyana
Prema tyaktam Yadishadabirshaya Smara sugazaki nasa virsha vinagalahenaya
Marasukha Saki Nasa Isha
vinagalahenaya Nagalugalaha zonyonyam ya prasadana varjita
Nakalukalaha Sonyonyam
prasadana varjita Prasadana vidhir naso yunam nayena vililire.
Prasada vivirna aso yuna nayena vilire.
Wonderful verse. The author says, Samajani natat prema. Dear devotees, please repeat after me. That love is not love,
Is not love,
which is devoid of
is devoid of
even a slight trace of possessiveness.
a slight trace of possessiveness.
Dear devotees, Samajani natat prema. That prema is not prema if it doesn't have one quality within it. What is that quality? Possessiveness. The opposite of love is not hatred. The opposite of love is neglect. I hope you are able to understand. It's a very important thing to know. The opposite of love is not hatred. What is the opposite of love? Neglect. So when a person says, I hate you, they still have some attachment for you. I hate the fact that you disappointed me when I had so many expectations in you. I hope you are able to understand. So, that love, that prema is not prema which is devoid of even a tiny bit of possessiveness. Possessiveness is also known as jealousy. Some jealousy should be there because I love you, therefore you belong to me and you better behave like I want you to behave. Possessiveness. Alright? So, this is the first turn in the cycle of prema. Now, dear devotees, Smara Sukha Sakhi Nasav Irsha. So, possessiveness or jealousy is where the first line ends. Now, please repeat after me. Jealousy too is not jealousy
Is not jealousy,
if it is devoid of
is devoid of
a loving quarrel.
love.
So, from time to time, in any good relationship, there should be some loving quarrel. Because if a loving quarrel is not there, then it indicates that something is not there. What is not there? Possessiveness. And if possessiveness is not there, then something is not there. What is not there?
Love.
Right? So if love is there, there will be some degree of possessiveness. And if possessiveness is there, there will be some sweet quarrel. Now, dear devotees, let's go to the third line. Na khalu kalaha. Please repeat. Quarrel is not truly quarrel
Is not truly quarrel.
if it is devoid of
Is devoid of
the act of appeasement.
the act of appeasement.
Yeah. Somebody at the end should say, I am sorry, it was my mistake. The more intelligent one will do this. So, the third line ends with appeasement. Now, dear devotees, finally, and appeasement
Appeasement
is not really appeasement
is not really appeasement.
if lovers do not merge
Lovers do not merge.
their limbs in a loving embrace.
Loves in a loving embrace.
This, dear devotees, is the complete cycle of Prema. This verse, a shorter version of this verse was quoted by Srila Rupa Goswami. This is the original, dear devotees. Now, will you sing after me once more the Sanskrit? Right? Wonderful meter. I love singing this particular meter. Samajanina dat prema tyaktam yadishadapishaya.
Samajaniyanta prema tvaktam
Yadishadapishaya. Smara sukha sakhi nasa virsha vinagalahenaya.
Smara sukha saki nasa virshya vinakaya.
Nakalu kalaha sonyonyam yah prasadana varjita.
Nakalu kalaha sonyonyam prasadana varjita.
Prasadana vede nasa yunam nayena vililire.
Prasadana vidirna so yunam nayena vilire.
wonderful cycle of Prema, dear devotees. The entire pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna revolves in this cycle. So there has to be lot of quarrel, and there has to be lot of appeasement, and then there has to be union again, and then again separation and union and separation and union and separation, and this is how the cycle of Prema continues. So we saw yesterday another crookedness on the path. Please repeat. Yatra dukham eva sukham. Annual Prabhu.
In this city of Prema, distress is the real happiness.
Distress is the real happiness. I explained yesterday from a point of view of rasa. How rasa, the framework of rasa, can turn even the greatest distress into happiness. I gave the example of watching a drama of Bhagwan Ram and the audience is crying. And after going back home, they say, what a wonderful drama it was. We would like to watch it again. In the English language, there is a term which is close to the experience of rasa. It is called catharsis. Now, I don't know how many understand the meaning of the term catharsis. Catharsis is this you get washed out by this overwhelming feelings, and then you feel immensely joyous, especially during an aesthetic experience. So that is what you call catharsis. And this catharsis is somewhat a rough equivalent of the experience of rasa. Sri Jiva Goswami says, now dear devotees, Purva Rag was going on, and Sri Krishna would often gaze with sidelong glances towards Sri Radha and the gopis. Sri Jiva Goswami says something. Now we have to note the Sanskrit terms carefully. Please repeat after me. Shastra and Shastra. Alright, dear devotees, Sri Jiva Goswami says something. कृष्णस्यान्यत्र दृक्प्रान्त सद्भिः स्मृतम् अन्ततासु पुनः सोऽयम् एभिः शस्त्रफलं मतम्. Sri Jiva Goswami says in Gopal Champu, Krishnasya anyatra drikpranta. Dear devotees, if Krishna would give his sidelong glance to any of us, how many of us want to receive the sidelong glance of Krishna tonight? Oh wow, everybody. Sadbhi, all the sadhus will say, wow, wonderful. Shastra phalam, you got the one pointed end result of studying all Shastra. Isn't it? That you got the sidelong glance of whom? Sri Krishna. Hanta, alas, tasu punah soyam. But when the gopis received the sidelong glance of Krishna, Abhi, they thought it is not Shastra phalam, it is Shastra phalam, the pointed end of a weapon. Devotees. For them it appeared to be not Shastra phalam, it appeared like Shastra phalam, the pointed end of an arrow. Please read through.
A single sidelong glance of Krishna on any other person in the world is considered to be the sweet attainment of the one-pointed end of all Shastras, scriptures. However, the same sidelong glance on the gopis is considered by them to be the painful attainment of the one-pointed end of Shastras, sharp weapons.
This, dear devotees, was the condition that the gopis went through when he gave his sidelong glance upon them. Now, whenever he would give his sidelong glance, Sri Rupa Goswami says they would experience various desires. And here is a wonderful verse from the Padyavali. This is in the meter Indra Vajra, same as the Guru Ashtakam we sing in the morning. Vilokya Krishnam Vrajavamanitra Sarvendriyanam Nayanatvam Akarnya Tadvenu Ninadabhangim Aichan Punasta Shravanatvam. The same meter as our Mangal Arti. Samsara Dava Nalalidha Loka. Bolo?
Saradava Naranira Loka
Tranaya karunya ghanaghanatvam
Pranaya Karunya Ganaganatam
Praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya
Pratasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya
Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam.
Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam.
Same meter, Indra Vajra, you can singing many tunes. Dear devotees, Vilokya Krishnam, after seeing Krishna, Vrajavama Netra, the beautiful eyed gopis of Vrindavan, they had one desire. Sarvendriyanam Nayanatvam may all our senses turn into eyes. For some time they had this desire. But Akarnya, then suddenly they would hear Tad Venu Ninad Bhangi, the sweet modulations of his flute, especially the fifth note. Then their desires would change. Sri Rupa Goswami says, Aichan Punastah Shravanatvam may all our senses turn into ears. This, dear devotees, was the effect on the gopis as soon as they saw Krishna and heard his flute. Kindly read, Prabhu.
Seeing Krishna, the beautiful eyed gopis would desire that all their senses should turn into eyes. Then again, hearing the sweet, soft modulations of his flute, they desired that all their senses should turn into ears.
And this, dear devotees, was the experience of the gopis. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says something similar. He says that Dehar Budani Bhagavan Yugapat Prayacha Vaktrar Budani Chapunas Pratidehameva Jivvar Budani Chapunah Prativakrameva Nrityantu Teshu Tabanath Gunar Budani. Bhagavan, he says, Bhagavan, give me 100 million bodies at once. At once, not one after another. At once, give me 100 million bodies. And in each of those 100 million bodies, give me 100 million heads. And in each of those 100 million heads, give me 100 million tongues. And on each of those tongues, may 100 million qualities of yours have a wonderful dance. So this is a wonderful verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So similar emotions are felt here. It's not that only the gopis are suffering. All I am describing is from the side of the gopis. In love, does one person suffer or do both of them suffer? Both have to suffer. So, Sri Krishna's condition was also suffering. But dear devotees, this is Prema Pattanam. Here, suffering is the highest joy. Please try to understand this. Suffering is the highest joy here. Krishna's condition also is described by Sri Rupa Goswami in Padyavali. The meter of the verse is Vasanta Tilakam. Kindly sing after me. Vatsan charayati vadayatena venum.
Vatsan charayati vadayatena venum.
Vatsan charayati vadayatena venum.
Vatsan charayati vadayatena venum.
Amodadena yamunavana marutena.
Amodatena yamuna marutena.
Kunjena yashidilam valitottamangam.
Kunjeni yasutitam valitottamangam.
Antastvaya shvashiti sundari nandasunu.
Antastvaya shvashiti sundari nandasunu.
So, a Sakhi comes to Sri Radha and says his condition also is not very good. Please hear. Vatsana charayati. Nowadays, he doesn't go out for herding the calves. Vadayatena venum. Other than evening times, he doesn't like to play upon the flute. And in the evening too, he plays it because he has the desire of seeing you. Amodatena yamunavana marutena. Doesn't take any pleasure in the cooling breezes of the Yamuna. Doesn't sit around the Yamuna so much. Then what does he do? Kunje niliya. He hides in his kunja, not showing himself to the society. Shithilam valitottamangam. His head is bowed down. And antastvaya, thinking of you within him. Shwashiti. He is breathing heavily. This is the condition of Nanda Sunu, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Dear devotees, here is the translation.
O beautiful girl, he neither takes the calves out for grazing, nor does he seem to play the flute. Moreover, he has stopped taking pleasure in the cooling breezes that flow in the forests near the Yamuna. Hiding deep inside a kunja with his head bent down in utter dejection, he heaves deep sighs, being overcome in his mind by your thoughts.
Dear devotees, we have to ask a question to Krishna at this point of time. You can see him. So please repeat after me. Dear Krishna,
Dear Krishna,
very loudly. Dear Krishna,
Dear Krishna,
is everything okay?
is everything okay?
No response, dear devotees. Everything is not okay. Now you can try to become Sahriday, like-minded with Sri Krishna. But remember that you are being like-minded with a very crooked person. Crooked people also suffer on the pathways of love. It's not that crooked people enjoy on this path. The entire path is full of suffering. And all of you agreed to walk upon it on the first day I had asked you. You could have taken sides with the moralist. And who was the moralist?
Shri Ram.
Sri Ram. But all of you decided to take sides with the libertine, Sri Krishna. Now here we are. Neither are the gopis happy and nor is he happy. Nothing is progressing. And in this way, many days passed. So the Goswamis describe finally Sri Radha wrote him a letter. And then there was the first meeting of both of them, after which they started meeting regularly. Now there are many verses which describe their meeting, but I wish to describe something which happened after their meeting. Of course, the meeting pastimes were very sweet. Gopis would often bring him various foodstuffs from their home. One of the most delightful foodstuffs of Sri Krishna was pan. And what is pan, dear devotees? Betel leaf. So the gopis would often offer him a pan, and the devotee commentator Sri Harisuri at this point of time composes a wonderful verse on pan. And here is his verse. This verse is in the meter Vasant Tilakam, and I'll sing, please sing after me. Adau vibhati namanaagapi yatra ragah.
Adho vibhati namanagapi yatra bhaga.
Adau vibhati namanaagapi yatra ragah.
Adho vibhati namanagapi yatra bhaga.
Samsevanottaram aparataranuragah.
Samsevanottaram aparataranuraga.
Tambulamishamiva vikshatatastada.
Tambulamishamiva vikshatatastada.
Sevatadi kimati sanjalina dadhara.
Sevatadi kimiti sanjaminadata.
Last line is Sevatadi, a gopi in the mood of seva. Sa Anjalina, in her palms, she offered tambul, pan. And dear devotees, he says, look at this pan. Adau vibhati namanagapi yatra raga. Adau, in the beginning, na ragaha. You will not see any rag. And rag means, dear devotees, red color. See here, dear devotees. Is there any red color in the pan? No. But some sevan means after eating it. Some sevan also means some sevan, proper seva. I hope you're able to understand. But initially it doesn't have any rag. Rag means red color, Rag also means deep attachment. But after eating it, apara taranu ragaha, you have immense red color. Oh, this tambul is exactly like Shri Krishna. Initially, he doesn't show any rag, any attachment towards you. But some sevanottaram, after you render service to him, little service, apara taranu raga, he becomes more attached to you than you are to him. Oh wow, tambul amishamiva. This tambul is exactly like Shri Krishna. And therefore, offering Shri Krishna to himself, she bought a pan in his seva. So this is the wonderful verse on tambul. Wonderful. Please read.
This tambula, betel leaf, is just like Krishna. Initially, there's no rag, redness, or love in him, but as soon as you come in close contact and serve him, there is immense rag, love, to be found. Thinking in this way, the gopi took the betel nut leaf in her hand, considering it to be a representative of Krishna.
So wonderful verse, dear devotees. Of course, they used to meet often, and Sri Krishna would often play the flute in the night. And often, dear devotees, there is something called as Nitya Ras. Nitya Ras is every night there is the pastime of rasa that takes place in Sri Vrindavan. And often during those pastimes, especially during Sharadiya Ras, it is seen that Sri Krishna disappears. Separation is, of course, essential for Prema. Sri Rupa Goswami says, Na vina vipralambena
Navina vipralambena
Sambhoga pushtimashnute
sambhoga pushtimashnute
Kashaite hi vastradav
ashaite vastrado
Bhuyan rago vivardhate
bhuyan rago vivardhate
Na vina vipralambena, without separation, sambhoga na pushtimashnute, union does not become tasteful. You first need to have separation in order for the union to have some taste. Sri Rupa Goswami gives an example, Kashai tehi vastra adav. When you want to color a cloth, you take white cloth and you wish to color it. If you directly dip it in the color, you will have color, but as soon as you wash it, most of the color will be washed away. So before coloring the cloth, you need to apply a very harsh chemical to it. This chemical is called kashai. In English, it is called mordant dye. It's a harsh chemical, but once you apply that harsh chemical and then apply color, then that color becomes even more brilliant. So dear devotees, this is the example that Sri Rupa Goswami gives for explaining why it is important to have separation in order to increase the flavor of union. And many acharyas have said that to not obtain something is not very painful, but to obtain something and then lose that thing is much more painful, dear devotees. So therefore, this separation induces that pain. But dear devotees, is this material pain?
No.
Actually, this pain is the highest
Joy.
Do you agree? Yes or no?
Yes.
Sri Rupa Goswami had said, only those who are experts, connoisseurs of this rasa will understand how it is not pain, it is actually great joy. Please read the translation.
Without separation, union does not attain nourishment. Only when proper mordant dyes are applied to cloth, etc., does the color on the cloth become extremely brilliant.
And so, dear devotees, here are I'll show you two varieties of cloth, one in which the modern dye was not applied and one in which the modern dye was applied. You can see here one of them is light blue, the color was washed away because the color fixing modern dye was not applied. And in the other one the dye was applied, so the color remains fixed and appears more brighter. This is the example given by Srila Rupa Goswami in his writings. So dear devotees, of course, after union comes separation. Bhagavan also decided to disappear. Please sing after me. तासां तत्सौभगमदम्
तासां तत्सौभागमदं
वीक्ष्यमानं च केशवः
वीक्ष्यमाणं च केशव
प्रशमाय प्रसादाय
प्रशमाय प्रसादाय
तत्रैवान्तरधीयत
तत्रैवान्तरदीयत
Tasam tat saubhaga madam. Seeing that the gopis are having a little intoxication of meeting me, Viksha manam, and that they have a little pride. Chakeshava, our Bhagwan did something. Now, dear devotees, having pride is a natural after effect of meeting Bhagwan. If it would be one gopi or two gopis, we would say it is their fault. But was it one or two gopis or all the gopis? All of them. So it is not the fault of the gopis. It may be fault of Krishna, we don't know. Alright, but at least we will not put the blame on the gopis. Even Sri Radha had this man, this garva, and Bhagavan also, on the pretext of man, not that he wanted to teach them a lesson. Our Bhagavan is not a revengeful Bhagavan. It's not that he wanted to teach them a lesson or something, but in order to increase the flavor of Prema at that particular point of time, Prashamaya, in order to calm down their mana, in order to calm down their pride, Prasadaya, and to please them further, Tatraiva Antaradhiyata, disappeared from the middle of them. So kindly read the translation.
The gopis became proud of themselves for having received such special attention from Krishna, and each of them thought herself the best woman on earth. Krishna, seeing the gopis too proud of their good fortune, wanted to relieve them of this pride and show them further mercy. Thus, he immediately disappeared.
So the translation said, and he wanted to show them further mercy. The Sanskrit says prasada. He wanted to please them further. Right? He wanted to please them further. Dear devotees, just in between the Rasalila, Bhagwan disappeared. And this is the particular moment when they are just about to realize that he is no longer between them. The Sanskrit term in the verse says, please repeat after me, Antardhiyata.
Antardiyata.
Please repeat the English translation. Krishna
Krishna
became
became
Antarhita.
Antarhita.
Antarhita means he disappeared. Dear devotees. So Krishna became Antarhita. Sri Hari Suri at this point of time composes a verse and says, Nana vilas parirambana chumbanadya
Nana vilasa parirambana chumbanadyai
Asam bahirhitamakari yatha tadhaiva
Asam bahirhitamakari tataiva
Antarhitam bata videyamiti prakamam
Antarhitam bata videyamiti prakamam
Antarhitontaragamanamaveshya sobhu. So he is specifying the thought process of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is thinking, Nana Vilas, I played with these gopis in many ways. Parirambhana, embraced them, Chumbanadyair, and exchanged many actions of affection with them. In this way, Asam Bahirhitam. Bahirhitam means I gave them Bahirhita, external benefit. What is the meaning of Bahir? And what is the meaning of Hita? Benefit. I gave them Bahir Hita, external benefit. Yatha Tathaiva. But I should not only give them external benefit, I should also give them Antarhitam, internal benefit. Isn't it? And in order to give them Antarhitam, internal benefit, our Bhagwan became Antarhita. And what is the meaning of Antarhita, dear devotees? He disappeared from them. This is the translation.
Krishna thought, through various types of love sports, embracing, etc., I have bestowed sufficient bahirhita, external benefit upon these gopis. Now I also wish to bestow sufficient antarhita, internal benefit upon them. Thinking in this way and seeing the pride of the gopis, our Bhagavan became antarhita, or he disappeared from their vision.
So this, dear devotees, is Sri Hari Suri, brilliant verse from the Bhakti Rasayanam. where he plays on the word given by Sri Shukadev Goswami, Antarhita, and composes a beautiful verse in this regard. Now, as soon as he disappeared, the gopis had pangs of separation and they searched everywhere in the forest. Please read what the Bhagavatam says.
Sri Shukadev Goswami said, "When Lord Krishna disappeared so suddenly, the gopis felt great sorrow at losing sight of him, like a group of female elephants who have lost their mate."
So, dear devotees, while searching for Sri Krishna, they approached many trees. The first tree that they approached is, please repeat after me, Ashwatha.
Ashwatha.
Ashwatha is the people tree. Sometimes it is roughly translated as banyan tree. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, anybody remembers which chapter there is the mention of Ashwatha? 15th chapter. So, Purushottam Yoga chapter. So, ऊर्ध्व मूलम अध शाखा अश्वत्थ प्राहुरव्ययम छंदांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तम वेद स वेदवित्. This is the first verse of that chapter. There is an ashwatha tree whose roots are upwards and branches are downwards. And this ashwatha tree is compared to what, dear devotees?
Spiritual world. Material world.
Material world. So the roots are in the spiritual world, but the tree is growing in which world, dear devotees? The material world. So the tree is compared to the material world. So the gopis first went to the Ashwatha tree, bowed down to the Ashwatha tree, and in their madness started asking the Ashwatha tree if they have seen Krishna. So the Srimad Bhagavatam only specifies that they asked the Ashwatha tree. What did they ask? That the Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't specify. Would you like to hear what they asked? Oh, we have a devotee commentator with us. For every tree, he gave 2 or 3 verses on of realization for each and every tree that they went to. Today, I'll just cover 2 trees because I have to move ahead. First and foremost, they prayed to Ashwatha. Their devotees, this is Ashwatha, people tree. And there is a difference between Ashwatha and Banyan. Banyan has roots hanging down, but the Ashwatha people doesn't have roots hanging down. So that banyan tree is called as Vatavriksha. But the Ashwatha is people tree. This is what is to be known here. And this is the tree with which Sri Krishna compares the material world to in the first verse of the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Sri Harisuri specifies what the gopis prayed. This verse is in the meter Bhujanga Prayatam. Right? It is the same tune as Damodar Ashtakam, but I'll sing in a different tune. Yadashwatha vrikshesha samsara rupam nitantam bhavantam mahanto vadanti tasasman swadangri pradeshavalamba sakridarshayeshasya samsara rupam. The same meter Bhujanga Prayatam. Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam.
Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam.
Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam.
Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam.
Yashoda Biyolu Khaladhavamanam.
Yashoda Biyolu Khaladhavamanam.
Paramrishtamatyantato Dritya Gopya.
Paramrishtamatyantato Dritya Gopya.
So this is Bhujanga Prayat meter. And Sri Harisuri says the gopis went to the Ashwatha tree and said, Yad Ashwatha, O Ashwatha, Vrikshesha, you are the king of all trees. O people tree, you are the king of all trees. Samsara Rupam, actually you are the form of samsara. What is the meaning of samsara, dear devotees? Material world. You are the form of the material world. And in which literature is it described, dear devotees? Bhagavad Gita. Yadashwatha Vrikshesh, O Lord of the trees, Samsara Rupam, you are the form of the material world. Nitantam Bhavantam Mahanto Vadanti, all the great sages sing this glory of you. Tadasman Swadangri Pradeshavalambah. So now we have come to your Angri Pradesh, to your feet, and we are praying to you. Ashwatha, you are Samsara Rupam. Sakrit Darshayeshasya Samsara Rupam. Sakrit, at least once, can you show us Samsara Rupam? Since you are Samsara Rupam, dear devotees, please repeat. Can you please show us Samsara Rupam? Some, complete, Sar, essential, Rupam, beautiful form of Krishna. Samsara Rupam, the essential, most beautiful form in this entire creation, Sri Krishna. O Ashwatha, you are glorified as Samsara Rupam. If this is the case, show us some Sar Rupam, the essential form of all forms in this entire creation, Shri Krishna. Here is the translation.
The gopis mooed in approaching the Ashwata. O Ashwata, O Lord of trees, you are renowned in Shastra as Samsara Rupa, the personification of the material world. Thus, you are greatly revered in the world. Now we gopis are situated near your feet. Please, for once, show us Samsara Rupa, the most essential, beautiful form in the world, Sri Krishna.
Oh, wonderful. Before he wrote this commentary, he had one darshan of Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna said, I'll give you the intelligence to write a commentary. I'll give you all the seeds. But you write in great detail. And there are many more trees that they go to. Another tree, dear devotees, is Rasal, mango tree. So this is the first time translation. This verse was translated today, dear devotees, in the English language. So this is, they go to Rasal, the mango tree. You can see the mango tree, dear devotees. They went to the mango tree and prayed to the mango tree. But what did they pray? The Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't say. But would you like to know what they prayed to the mango tree? Oh, wonderful. Dear devotees, only in the universe of devotional kavya can you find what the gopis prayed to the mango tree. It's a wonderful verse. Sri Arishuri says, gives their realization. The meter of the verse is Prithvi, a sweet meter. I'll sing. Please sing after me. Rasala kila bhutale dvamasi gopikanandaka.
Rasala kila bhutale tvamasi gopikanandaka.
Rasala kila bhutale dvamasi gopikanandaka.
Rasala kila bhutale tvamasi gopikanandaka.
Pradedi javritaiva yad vitarasihanasmat sukham.
Prateti chatritaiva yat vitarasihanasmat sukham.
Sati yadadhavasutam vrajapatir badadarshayam.
Satiyat atavasutam rajapatir batadarshayam.
Yuda kisalayasina sa iva gopikanandaka.
Yudaki salayasina saiva gopikanandaka.
Sweet meter. Have you heard this meter anywhere? Anarpita charim chirat karunayavatirna kalau samarpayitum rasansva bhakti shriyam. Hare purata sundara dyuti kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spuratu vashachi nandana. Wonderful verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This sweet meter Prithvi. So the gopis went to the mango tree, fell at its feet and said, Rasal. The meaning of Rasal is mango tree, the most delicious fruit in the entire creation, dear devotees. It is so delicious that the Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to this fruit. The king of all fruits in the entire creation. Rasal, oh mango tree, Kila bhutale, on this earth, Tvam asi, you are very renowned. As what, dear devotees, please sing. Gopikanandaka.
Gopikanandaka.
What is the meaning of Gopikanandaka? Gopika. What is meaning of Gopika? Gopis Anandakaha. You give joy. So does the mango tree give joy to the gopis?
Yes.
There is a hidden meaning. Please sing, please repeat after me. Oh Rasal,
O rasa,
in this world,
in this world,
you are
you are
Gopika
Gopika
Nandakaha.
Nandaka.
Go
Go
Pika
Pika
Anandakaha.
Nandaka.
You give joy to the go, to the cows, and Pika, to the cuckoos and other birds. Go Pika Anandakaha. Go refers to cow, Pika refers to cuckoos and other birds. So you give immense pleasure to go and Pika. Go Pika Anandakaha. Pratheti cha vrithaiva, but we think your glories are useless. Yad vitarasi hanasmat sukham, because you are not giving us happiness. Sati yadathava, if you think your glories are true, then Vraja Sutam Vrajapater, that son of Nanda Maharaj, Bata Darshayan, show us where he has gone. And don't worry, Yuta Kisalayasina, you have your fresh grown twigs as a sword, you can point in his direction. Sa Eva, and just like that Shri Krishna is Gopika Nandakaha, he is the delighter of the gopis, you also become Gopika Nandakaha today. You also become the delighter of the gopis today. Otherwise, your glories will turn useless. This is the translation.
The gopis' mood in approaching the mango tree. O Rasala, O mango tree, you're renowned in the world as Gopika Andakaha, the delighter of cows and cuckoos. However, we think that this glory is useless because today you are not behaving like Gopika Nandakaha, delighter of the gopis. If you believe that your glories are indeed true, then use the sword of your fresh sprouts and show us where the son of Nanda Maharaj is. Just as Krishna is Gopika Nandakaha, delighter of the gopis, you too can become known as Gopika Nandakaha by pointing towards him.
Wonderful verse, everybody. So for every verse, for every tree, there are 2 or 3 verses like this. Oh, he named his literature Bhakti Rasayanam. And in the beginning of his literature, he gave a promise that anybody who understands this literature, he said, I give a promise on my behalf, they will be freed from the disease of lust within their heart. So this promise he gave because Sri Krishna told him personally, write a commentary on the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. And these are 2-3 verses. The total number of verses that he wrote are 4,650. So 4,650 verses were written by him, and all those verses are cryptic like this. The commentator also is not straightforward in describing Sri Krishna because he knows straightforward verses don't give the joy that crooked verses give. So it is very important to have that crookedness even within the commentator in order to give that particular joy. Anyways, the gopis searched everywhere. Finally, they all got together at Yamuna and cried. And after they cried, dear devotees, Bhagwan reappeared in front of them. The Srimad Bhagavatam says, Tasama virabhuchauri
Asama Virabhuchauri
Smayamana Mukhambujaha
Mayamana Mukhambuja
Pitambaradhara Sragvi
Pitambaradara Sarvi
Sakshan Manmatha Manmatha
Sakshana Mata
Tasam Avir Abhut Chauri. Krishna with a smile on his face appeared before the gopis. Swayamana Mukhambuja. Pitambaradhara Sragvi. Wearing a garland and a yellow garment, he directly appeared as one who is Manmatha, who can bewilder the mind of Cupid, who himself bewilders the mind of ordinary people. In this way, Bhagwan appeared in front of them. And dear devotees, Sri Hari Suri says, in this entire pastime of Bhagwan meeting with the gopis, Bhagwan separating with the gopis, please do not think that there is any adharma. There is no adharma. Of course, you can poetically say that adharma is dharma in Prema Pattanam. Of course, poetically you can say that dharma is adharma. And of course, there will be many contradictions described in the Prema Pattanam, where agyan, ignorance, is gyan. And what is the example of agyan being gyan? Mother Yashoda forgetting the glories of Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Actually, that is real gyan. And where gyan is agyan, because Uddhav came with his gyan and realized that actually he had big agyan, big ignorance, dear devotees. This is Prema Pattanam. It is filled with crooked contradictions. And later he will say where yatra striya eva purusha, where ladies are actually men and where men are actually ladies. Many contradictions will be described in Prema Pattanam. But today I have to gradually bring the seminar to an end. Prema Pattanam will require many hundreds of talks. It is not an easy literature, but it's a very sweet literature to understand and dive in. Sri Harishuri says, please don't have any doubt about Bhagwan's Rasa Leela. Again, in the Bhujanga Prayat meter, he composes same as Damodar Ashtakam. Yadi syadadharmastadaisham charitram
Yadi syadadharmastadaisham charitram
katham shrinvatam syadadharmapahari
katham shrunatam syadadharmapahari
tato nirnayah spashta eva janiha
spashta eva janiha
swayam kartumisho nyatha kartumishah
swayam kartumisho nyatha kartumisha.
Yadi syad adharmas tad aisham charitra. If the character of Bhagwan Shri Krishna is adharma, then tell me, katham shrinvatam, how did it happen that for people like me who were hearing this character, adharma pahari, it snatched away all adharma of mine and gave me direct darshan of Krishna? How did it happen? If this is adharma, then by listening to this adharma, how did I get a personal darshan of Sri Krishna? Dear devotees, because the author of Prema Pattanam said, adharma is the greatest dharma on this path. Tato nirnayah spashta. Therefore, I give my clear conclusion. Nirnaya. Eva janiha. The clear conclusion here is Swayam kartumisho nyatha kartumisha. That Bhagwan who sets the rules can also break the rules at any point of time. And it will still be known as dharma. It will never be known as adharma. Because after listening to these pastimes, you will be fully immersed in the highest dharma and all your adharma will be completely washed out. The disease of lust will be vanquished and you will have attained Shri Krishna Prem. So this, dear devotees, is what Sri Harishuri says.
O doubtful soul, if the Supreme Lord's activities consist of adharma, irreligiosity, then how will these acts remove all the sins of those who listen to them? Therefore, the conclusion is extremely clear that Lord who can set the rules and regulations of Scripture can also act contrary to them at any point of time.
And dear devotees, it's very important that when Sri Rupa Goswami describes Dasya Ras in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, he says that according to many acharyas, Dasya is the supreme. When he describes Sakhya Ras, he says that according to those who relish Sakhya Ras, Sakhya is the supreme. And in Vatsalya, he gives a very wonderful argument. In Vatsalya, he says that Dasya and Sakhya, they become negatively affected if Krishna doesn't reciprocate. But Vatsalya is never negatively affected even if Krishna doesn't reciprocate with his parents. Hence, dear devotees, which rasa is the highest? Vatsalya. But dear devotees, when it comes to describing madhurya, he gives his personal opinion. Rasarat. That this is the king of all the rasas. And Sri Jiva Goswami also proclaims this supremacy of madhurya rasa in the Gopal Champu. The meter is Malini. I'll sing it, please sing after me. Yadamita rasa shastre Vyanji Vaidagya Vrindam तदणुमपि न वेत्तुम् कल्पते कामिलोकः तदखिलमपि यस्य प्रेम सिन्धौ न किञ्चिन् मिथुनमजित गोपी रूपमेतद्विभाति यद अमित रस शास्त्रे in the infinite romantic literature of this world Vyanji, it has been described. Vaidagdhya Vrindam, lot of romantic expertise has been described in the romantic literature of this world. Dear devotees, which is the most popular romantic literature in the material world that you can think of?
Romeo and Juliet.
Wonderful. Romeo and Juliet. So everybody knows Romeo and Juliet. And then there are other examples, Nal, Damayanti, and there are many, Dushyant, Shakuntala, many other romantic literatures are there. Whatever Vaidagdhya, whatever expertise is described in them, tad anum apina vettum kalpate kami loka. The ordinary lusty person on the street cannot experience even a tiny atom of what is described even in the material literature. This is the case. So how many of you experience love like Romeo and Juliet? Nobody? You're Hare Krishna, you don't experience love.
No, but we still live.
Yeah. Because at the end of Romeo and Juliet, both of them died. I think he consumed poison or something, and she died in separation, something like that. It was in my English exam in the 9th grade, so I remember. That's how I remember. So you take all of that expertise, the ordinary person on the street cannot experience even a little bit of that. But tad akhilam api yasya, all that expertise of material romance, Prema Sindhau na kinchit, is nothing in front of the big ocean, vast ocean of the Prema of a certain couple, Ajita Gopi, that is Sri Krishna and Gopi Sri Radha. And it is possible for you to experience all of that, devotees, through these pastimes. Rupame Tad Vibhati. This form of Sri Radha Krishna is the most glorious in the entire creation. What you will never experience in your material life. Never ever. And what will constantly pain you at each and every step in the material world. That relationship with the opposite gender, which will give you constant trouble no matter whom you are married to. Dear devotee, I will give you pramanas later for that. But that relationship which will give you immense trouble in the material world. But that same relationship, if it is had with Bhagwan, dear devotees, that same relishment with Bhagwan is a complete ocean of joy. That samsara of Bhagwan is Sukhalayam Shashvatam. And the way to enter it is through the poetry of Srila Rupa Goswami and the other Goswamis. Rupam etad vibhati. This form is the most glorious of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Please read.
In the limitless expanse of rasa literature, an enormous variety of romantic expertise has been expressed by the great poets. The typical lusty person cannot grasp even a tiny atom of that vast expertise. Now, all that romantic expertise of rasa literature becomes absolutely insignificant in comparison to the ocean of prema of a particular divine couple. That couple, having the eternal form of Radha Krishna, appears to be the most splendid in the entirety of creation.
And dear devotees, if you try to find this in the material world anywhere, you will be severely disappointed. Don't take my word for it. Ask the people who are married. But no, you can look in Shastra. Sorry, don't ask them. You can look in Shastra. They may be a little hesitant. In the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Muni says, Na tathasya bhaven moho bandhaschanya prasangatah yoshit sangad yatha pumso yatha tat sangi sangatah. This verse speaks to this side of the audience, all right? To all the Prabhus, this verse is speaking. Prabhu, you can read, all right? What Bhagavan says.
The infatuation and bondage with which accrue to a man from attachment to any other object is not as complete as the that resulting from attachment to a woman or to the fellowship of men who are fond of women.
This verse speaks to the men. There should be a verse for the women also. Yes or no? Yes. Of course, there should be a verse for the ladies. Kapil Muni speaking to the ladies. Tamatmano vijaniya patya patya grihatmakam daivopasaditam mrityum mrigayor gayanam yatha. Please read, Prabhu. You read also for the ladies. Okay.
A woman, therefore, should consider her husband, her house, and her children to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death, just as sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer.
Wow. So for the men it is immense suffering, but for the women it is. So it is equal now. I hope you so, this is the point that Sri Jiva Goswami is trying to make. No matter whom you are married to, you will have the same experience. And those people who will say, no, my relationship is going very good, all right? So they are hiding all the compromises that they have made out of fear of some guilt or shame. They don't want to show how much they have sacrificed and suffered in the relationship, their devotees. Sooner or later, dukkha will get to you. Parinam dukh, tap dukh, samskar dukh. The three types of miseries will get to you in the material world. And this is satyam. This is the truth. There is no falsity about it. And we do not have any illusions about this. But when this dukkha passes through the framework of bhakti ras and we get into the samsara of Bhagavan, then all of this dukkha turns into sukha. Now, how many of us would like to have this dukkha through the framework of bhakti ras turned into sukha? Please raise your hands. Oh, wonderful. So, you have to understand that the relationships between men and women in this world are generally a cause of immense pain for both of them. The only way that a man and women can stay happily in this world together is by a series of mutual compromises. And that is how every relationship in the world moves ahead. This is a fact, and you can ask any married person as to what compromises they have made. There are three types of miseries that Patanjali Muni describes in the Yoga Sutra, which occur for anybody who is trying to experience such pleasure. I will give the names of these three types of miseries. You can please repeat after me, and this will convince you certainly. Please repeat first. Parinama dukkha. First is parinam dukkha. Patanjali Muni says initially it starts off very well, gradually it turns into suffering. For example, initially both husband and wife, they were very happy when they got married. After 2 years, the husband lost all his hair and the wife got some disease. And dear devotees, it started very well. And then this is the first type of dukkha. What is the name of this dukkha, dear devotees? Parinam dukkha, the misery of transformation. Second, please repeat. Second type of misery, tapa dukkha. Tapa dukkha is, now somebody may say this may happen with many people, it will not happen with me. Mine will not be affected by parinam. So Patanjali Muni says second dukkha is waiting for you. The second dukkha is tapa dukkha. Tapa dukkha is you start suffering while you are enjoying. Alright, this is called tapa dukkha. And I give an example of this. It's a very nice example that all of you can easily understand. Think of somebody who is a chain smoker who is addicted to smoking 10 cigarettes every day. Alright, think of such a person. So while smoking the cigarette, he has a lot of pleasure. Now, one fine evening, he opens his cupboard and sees there's only one cigarette remaining for tomorrow. So I better go down to the gas station and get another pack of cigarettes. But before he goes down, he takes a shower. After he comes out of the shower, He's preparing to go out to the gas station to buy his lot of cigarettes for tomorrow. Suddenly there's an announcement on television, due to COVID-19, everything is closed down. Now, for tomorrow morning, how many cigarettes does he have? One. So morning comes, and then he has that one cigarette, and then he's smoking that one. And while smoking, dear devotees, is he happy or sad? Please think of it. Yeah. So that happiness is mixed with one suffering, that this is going to end very soon. This is the second type of misery. What is the name, dear devotees? Tap dukkha. And now somebody may say, no, no, I will also escape tap dukkha. Huh? Patanjali Muni says, third you will certainly not be able to escape. Please repeat the third after me. Samskara.
Samskara.
Dukkha.
Dukkha.
Samskar dukkha. Samskar dukkha is that if you have undeterred, no obstacles to your enjoyment. Let's say somebody had the most perfect relationship and no quarreling. It can't be perfect. We saw the cycle of love, there has to be. But anyways, hypothetically, you had the most perfect relationship and no quarreling and no miseries, and you lived happily ever after. But each and every impression of happiness is making a samskar, a deep vasana within your heart, that my partner should be like this. And then in the next life, is there a guarantee that the partner will be like that? So your previous good impressions will give you trouble in your next life. This is known as which dukkha, dear devotees? Samskar dukkha. Parinam dukkha, tap dukkha, samskar dukkha. Please raise your hand if anybody thinks they can be happy in the material world after all this. Yeah, with bhakti rasa okay, huh? But in the material world, there is no possibility of happiness. The reason why I am giving all this philosophy, I was speaking so much rasa. The reason why I am giving all this philosophy is that my Shiksha Guru used to say, after the 10th canto comes the 11th canto. It's very important to understand that after the 10th canto comes the 11th canto. And the 10th canto is the most important part as far as our final attainment is concerned. But the 11th canto is most important as far as staying within the material world is concerned. It's very important to understand this. The 10th canto will tell us the goal, and of course we should fly very high. Today we flew very high. But the 11th canto will tell us that the material world is not a fit place to stay in. And therefore all these feelings that we are having towards Radha and Krishna, these feelings cannot be replicated in the material world. And therefore these feelings are only supposed to be relished in the association of devotees in private like-minded groups, where there are devotees who are of the nature of being a little inclined to rasa. Then it is very nice. And this is what Sri Jiva Goswami says. The only way to experience this happiness is to immerse yourself in the ocean of the pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. There is no other way. And then you may be brahmachari or sannyasi or grihastha or vanprastha, never married before or married 10 times or whatever may be your condition. You will have the experience of transcendence simply by walking through the windows of poetry that Sri Rupa Goswami left for you. And this experience of rasa is direct experience of Sri Krishna, and it will bring you further closer and closer. All these images which will leave samskar on your mind, dear devotees, all images will leave a samskar on your heart, and at the moment of death, the most powerful samskar, the most prominent image on the wall of the heart will come in front of you. And dear devotees may be thinking about Sri Krishna's reunion with the gopis. You may breathe your final breath, and next time you open your eyes, you will be in the direct presence of Sri Krishna. So this, dear devotees, is the success of the human form of life. So I'd like to show one last verse of self-composition. This is a verse glorifying Sri Radha, dear devotees. This verse is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam. I'll sing it, please sing after me. मृद्विहल्लकराजदीप्तिजयिका सम्पुष्टिदार्शस्य सा
मृद्विहालकराजदीप्तिजयिका सम्पुष्टिदर्शस्य सा
तस्मै हृष्टसुधामृताब्धिजननी तिष्यस्य सादंशिका
तस्मै हृष्टसुधामृताब्धिजननी तिष्यस्य सदांशिका
नित्या पार्षद संस्तुता व्रजपदे सा तुष्टि संसाधिका
नित्या पार्षद संस्तुता व्रजपते सा तुष्टि संसादिका
कारुण्यामृतमातनोतु नितरां सा राधिका राधिका
कारुण्यामृतमातनो निधिनां सा राधिका राधिका.
Please read the translation.
She is soft-limbed, the conqueror of the beauty of the best of reddish lotus flowers, the bestower of spontaneous devotion on the devotee followers of the great souls, the producer of auspicious oceans of nectar for such devotees, the destroyer of the influence of Kali Yuga, eternally existing, comprehensively glorified by her associates, the complete arranger of the satisfaction of Rajapati, Krishna. May that worshipper of Krishna, Sri Radhika, expand the nectar of her mercy constantly.
Srimati Radharani ki jai. Dear devotees, we will plot the verse on a wheel, right? Now, sing along with me, dear devotees. We will plot the first line from bottom left to top right. मृद्विहल्लकराजदीप्तिजयिका सम्पुष्टिदार्शस्य सा. The first line. Second line we'll plot from top left to bottom right. तस्मैरिष्टसुधामृताब्धिजननी तिष्यस्य सादंशिका. The third line from top to bottom. Nitya parshad samsutha vrajapade satushti samsadhika. And bottom, it ends with ka. From the bottom, we will start going clockwise, dear devotees, around the wheel. Karunyamritamatanottu nitara saradhika radhika. This, dear devotees, is a verse of glorification for Sri Radha. Of course, there is a hidden signature, as you all know. So the hidden signature is in the third and the sixth spoke, and this is the sequence in which you can read it. Radha Sampushyatu. So may Sri Radha fully nourish this insignificant servant, dear devotees. Haribol. So this is a verse of glorification for Sri Radha. I am very thankful, Maharaj, to you for kindly inviting me here. Every year you take a big risk and invite me, but I am very thankful, Maharaj, that you kindly invite me. And I am very grateful for the opportunity to speak. And very grateful to all the wonderful devotees who are present here. And even though I go back to Mumbai, please remember the first verse which I started with, Girau Mayura Gagane Payoda. The peacock always remembers the dark cloud. The lotus always remembers the sun. The lily always remembers the moon. Yo yasya mitram nahi tasya duram. Good friends are never far away. So dear devotees, I'll always keep Goloka Dham within my heart, even though I am situated far away in Mumbai. So please pray that somehow I can become a little less crooked in the material world and a little more crooked in understanding Krishna Leela, dear devotees. Please say a prayer for me. Thank you so much, dear devotees. So, Gaur Hari Prabhu, we have time for Q&A. Yes. We have 10 minutes for Q&A. Okay. Anybody wants to ask anything? We'll give to Maharaj first, then we'll go to Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for nourishing us so completely. I can see symptoms in the audience of being filled up to the neck. I want to ask you a question which I have been thinking a lot about, and that is how do our how is the transformation of our material feelings happening and going into spiritual feelings? Or is it that there is no transformation of material feelings, but that spiritual feelings is a gift? And I would like to quote a story I heard about two men coming to Vallabhacharya asking for initiation. Both of these men had experienced the tragic loss of their wives in the same period of time. They had turned into widowers overnight. So they came to Vallabhacharya and asked him to accept them as disciples. And Vallabhacharya asked them something about their lives, and they said, my wife died yesterday. And Allah said, my wife died before the day, before yesterday. So the first person said, now I understand this is the coming and going of birth and death. This is involuntary, this is unavoidable. And the second cried bitter tears. Oh, my wife, who was such a good assistance, died. And so Vallabhacharya said to the first, I cannot accept you as a disciple because you have no feelings. To the second he said, I will accept you as a disciple, and your feelings will turn towards Krishna. But there's something there already.
Oh, wonderful.
Now my question from this is, I had the chance to sit here and look at the audience. Yes, in one sense I'm a blissful person, in another I'm something like a brutal scientist. And I could see that in some of the audience, when they laughed, it was due to material emotions. When they were sad, they thought, oh yeah, I have experienced something like separation because yes, there was separation. It was perhaps not totally spiritual in their reaction. But is this in the Bhakti tradition, is it, let us say, is it our system that, okay, we take what is there and we try to elevate it, or do we try to replace it? What is the process?
All right. Wonderful question. Usually I say to Param Karuna Prabhu, no difficult questions, but I think I should have said before, but it's a difficult question because you're asking like a brutal scientist. So, of course, if we look at the reality of the situation in very plain words, the sadhak deha, the body of a practitioner that we have, and the mind of a practitioner that we have, the body and the mind that has been given to us is material. There is no denying this fact. This is a plain fact, and everybody will accept this. And how do we know that this body is material? It is undergoing 6 changes that are described for all material entities. Jayate, asti, birth, existence, growth, transformation, dwindling, death. So because it is undergoing those 6 changes, therefore it is certainly a material body and certainly a material mind. Now, individuals who have material feelings, is it possible for them to transform those material feelings into feelings for Bhagavan? And the answer to this, as you quoted in the story, yes, the answer to this is yes, but there is a condition involved there. And Srila Jiva Goswami specifies the exact detail in his commentary to Anyabhilashita Shunyam. So I am quoting Anyabhilashita Shunyam commentary of Srila Jiva Goswami, and what he says in this particular commentary I am showing. Please repeat, dear devotees. I am highlighting here. Can you see our highlighted portion? Yes. Etacha Krishna Tadbhakta Kripayaika Labhyam Etacha. And this spiritual gift of bhakti is obtained only by kripaya, by the mercy of Krishna and his devotee. We cannot produce bhakti on our own endeavor. This is the conclusion that Sri Jiva Goswami gives. Etacha, and this Krishnanushilanam is Krishna Tad Bhakta Kripaya Ekalabhyam. It is attained only by the mercy of Krishna or his devotees. In other words, it is gifted to us either by the devotee or by Krishna directly. But bhakti is completely transcendental, and the body and the mind are material. So how can bhakti appear on material mind and material senses? So this is the next question. The questions are not written in between. You have to fill the questions. All right. So, but mind and senses are material. So how will the material mind and the material senses be able to receive bhakti? So he says, please repeat, Shri Bhagavatah Swarupa Shakti Vritti Rupam. This bhakti is Bhagavatah, Bhagavan's Swarupa Shakti Vritti. It is a function of Bhagavan's internal potency. Bhakti is a function of the external potency or the internal potency? Internal. Swarupa Shakti Vritti Rupam. Then he says, Ato Aprakritam. Therefore it is non-material. Bhakti is non-material. 100% we all agree till this point. Api. Please say api. Still. Now here api is where our hopes are hanging. Our hopes are hanging on this api. Still. Kayadi vritti tadatmenaiva tatra tatra virbhutam. See, bhakti is a function. He said vritti. Bhakti is a function of the internal potency. Dear devotees, function is very important. What is bhakti? Bhakti is a function. And kayadi vritti, the material body also has functions. So what bhakti does is tadatmyenaiva. The functions of the material body are there, and the function of bhakti becomes one with the function of the material body. And in this way, Bhakti Devi descends on the material senses. Tatra tatra avirbhutam. It appears on those respective senses, including the most important sense organ, which is the mind, which carries all the senses of the living entity from one body to another. Manah shashthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati, as the Gita says. So it is agreed that the mind and senses are material, but the functions of bhakti, although spiritual, descend voluntarily upon the material mind and material senses of the practicing sadhaka. But what is the condition? Will it descend on everybody? So Sri Jiva Goswami says, Agre tu spashti karishyate. Ahead I will open the secret. When ahead? We have to wait for a long time. So I will not make you go through the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu to go to that point. I will take you directly where Agre. Where is that Agre? Where is ahead? He will explain this thing. So, अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेद् ग्राह्यमिन्द्रियैः सेवोन्मुखे हि जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यतः अतः Shri Krishna Namadi. Therefore, no name, form, qualities of Krishna can be grasped by any material sense, including the mind. This is the fact. But if api, yet our hope was hanging on that api, and the answer is here. Sevon mukhe. If the intention is seva, then on the material functions of the material body and the material functions of the material mind, Swayam eva spurati, Bhakti Devi descends voluntarily on the material functions of the body and the mind. Because the body also has functions and Bhakti Devi is also a function of which energy? The internal potency. And body is having functions of which energy? External potency. So that those functions of the internal potency become one with the functions of the external potency. Thus, Bhakti Devi descends on the material mind and material senses. Thus, it is possible for a person to dovetail their material emotions towards Krishna, and therefore Sri Narad Muni says in 7.132, last two lines, Tasmat kenapyupayena manah Krishna niveshaye. Prabhu, please read the last sentence. This.
Therefore, one must somehow think of Krishna.
This is the conclusion. Therefore, one must somehow think of Krishna in a mood of seva. I hope you're able. Sevon mukhe. In a mood of seva. Nobody can give you a certificate whether you are sevon mukhe or not. Only you know within yourself. Sevon mukhe. How many of us want to cheat ourselves? How many of us want to cheat ourselves? Nobody wants to cheat, na? So please be seva unmukha. Please have the mood of seva while remembering Krishna Lila. Everything, and follow the path of the six Goswamis. Everything will be taken care of. So that is the answer. It is possible to dovetail material emotions towards Bhagavan, provided that there is a specific rasa in which Bhagavan reciprocates in that rasa, and the intention is not for self pleasure. The intention is to render seva to Bhagavan. Seva unmukha is the main criteria here. Then it is definitely possible. Somehow or other, one must think of Krishna, says Narad Muni. And this is the pristine conclusion of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Bhakti Devi will descend on those thoughts and transform those thoughts from material into spiritual. So there is no replacement, but there is amalgamation of spiritual with the material, and gradually the spiritual takes over completely. So I hope that answers it to a good degree of satisfaction.
Yes, it does. How do I hear in the mood of seva? Then, if I come to the classes, the Krishna Katha is going on, what exactly does it mean to hear in the mood of seva? And how would someone hear who is not in the mood of seva? How are they different, the two listeners?
Wonderful question. I hope we are not getting late. Okay. So how do we know if we are listening in the mood of seva? And how do we know if we are not listening in the mood of seva? If we go to the root of it, and literally the root, the Sanskrit verbal root of it, there is a very nice verse in the Padyavali. Bhakti hi seva bhagavato. This is 111 from Padyavali. Another name for seva is bhakti, dear devotees. What is another name for seva? Bhakti. The verbal root bhaj from Panini, bhaj sevayam. It is used in the context of seva. So the meaning of bhaj is seva. How do we know we are having the mood of seva? Because we are having bhakti towards that person. But we cannot have bhakti towards that person who is speaking. But what is the first stage of bhakti, dear devotees? Shraddha. The first stage of bhakti, dear devotees, is Shraddha. शुश्रूषो श्रद्धानस्य वासुदेव कथारुचि स्यान महत सेवया विप्रा पुण्य तीर्थ निषेवण. So if we have shraddha in the speaker and the speaker is qualified, then we are rendering seva. And we are not rendering seva when we do not have something. And what is that, dear devotees? Shraddha in the speaker. The speaker should be qualified and we should have shraddha in that speaker. Often many individuals sit in a class not with a mood of shraddha. So it is better not to sit rather than sit with a mood of ashraddha. Because one arasik can spoil the mood of the entire assembly. Just as a dead fly can give diarrhea to the entire marriage party. So it is better, this is what I say, this is satyam. Sometimes I am speaking some uncomfortable truths. It is better not to sit in a particular talk if we don't have shraddha in the speaker, rather than sit with a mindset of finding faults. This is something a Vaishnava should never do. Better not to sit in a particular talk if we don't have shraddha. So that is how we render seva. With a mood of seva, we sit and hear from somebody. So I hope that answers your query to some degree of satisfaction. Thank you. Okay, so yes. Last question, yes.
I'll make it quick. Thank you very much, Prabhu. There is this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam which you quoted about gopis having the feeling of pride. And you touched the matter, but I have a really big problem with understanding this. I cannot accept that gopis can be proud. Can you please elaborate on this? Thank you.
All right. The Sanskrit term, dear devotees, you can all repeat. Garva.
Garva.
Garva is this feeling of elation that I am someone special. This is the feeling that they had. Sri Jiva Goswami in his commentary gives further characteristics of this Garva. And what are the characteristics? One feels oneself to be the topmost. One starts neglecting other people as lesser mortals. This is the feeling that you have when Garva is present in a certain individual. Now, when Sri Krishna started showing each and every gopi that I am exclusively with you and with nobody else. Now, how does this happen? It's a very important thing. How does this happen that Sri Krishna showed to every gopi that I am exclusively with you and with nobody else? Now, this is the nature of Sri Krishna in the spiritual world, that every devotee will feel that I am the most special to Bhagavan. And if you don't believe me, here is a quotation. बालकास्तरुणा वृद्धा गोपास्ते कोटिकोटिशः सर्वे विदुर्महाप्रेयान् अहं कृष्णस्य नेतरः. This is from Brihad Bhagavatamritam, the BBT edition 36211. So here is the translation. Prabhu, kindly read.
Every one of the millions and millions of cowherds, the children, young people, and elders thinks, I alone am most dear to Krishna.
Now, does Krishna also reciprocate naturally with them? Of course. The next verse says, Tathaiva vyavaharopi tesham Krishne sadekshate pratyekam teshu tasyapi vishuddhastadrigeva saha. Just as the pure way they behave towards Krishna always confirms this ecstatic mentality, so does the way he behave towards every one of them. And he makes everybody feel, including you when you will go to the spirit. We hope you go in this. Yeah. We hope for the best. He'll make you feel that you alone are dear most to me. And you will have sufficient reasons to believe that. And his interactions with you will also be pure. He will not be pretending when he deals with you. And this will reinforce the fact in your heart that I alone am dear most to Sri Krishna. And the gopis, each and every one of them had this feeling. And then this feeling was boiled over when he gave them bahirhita, when he started giving them external benefit like embracing them, touching them. And then this boiled over to a point where I am great and others are okay. But then Bhagavan decided I should give antarhita, inner benefit. And then Bhagavan became antarhita. Bhagavan disappeared. So Garva is a temporary sanchari bhav, temporary feeling which arises in personal association with Sri Krishna. It's not a permanent feeling. Sanchari bhavs are like waves that arise in an ocean and merge in the ocean and they nourish the ocean. These are called sanchari bhavs. Like chinta, anxiety is a sanchari bhav of Vatsalya. Mother Yashoda often develops chinta when she doesn't see Krishna. But is chinta her permanent emotion or is it a temporary wave? What is it? Temporary wave. It rises in the ocean of Vatsalya, it merges in the ocean of Vatsalya and nourishes the ocean of Vatsalya. Similarly, Garva is a sanchari bhav in the ocean of madhurya. It rises in the ocean of madhurya, it merges in the ocean of madhurya when Bhagwan disappears or he becomes angry, and it nourishes the ocean of madhurya. But this is how you can come to terms with it gradually. I hope it made sense. Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. All right, we'll pause here.
Thank you so much, Hare Parshad Prabhu. It's a very, very beautiful presentation. I think we all could feel some butterfly inside from time to time. Thank you. It was very, very beautiful, and we feel very grateful that we could have this association. We are coming close to the question answer this afternoon. Some devotee asked me the question, can we also ask the question by raising our hands, or do we need to just all write on the paper? So we will have both. We will have sometimes questions that are written down, sometimes questions that are asked. So it will be like this. And there is also one rule that I have learned actually from Hare Parshad Prabhu, that we don't load the question. We should not give loaded question. That means that when we use names, or Prabhupada said this, but Jiva Goswami said that, or institution, yeah, but in ISKCON is like this, or that institution is like that. So please be mindful in the question that you write to not put names of Vaishnavas and no names of institutions, so that it remains easy for the speaker to answer the question. So please take a good break. Prasadam will be served at 1:30, and we start again at 5 o'clock with the question and answer session.
So the program Sunday feast is here, right?
Sunday feast program will start in now, in 5 minutes.